I don't know if I've changed, but I think there's some confidence that comes with winning Grand Slam. I think there's some satisfaction that comes with it. But for me, that's yeah, it's great, but it's a little bit in the past now. I'm here to hopefully play well and do well on the hard courts, and um, I'm trying to get ready and get back in my best form before the U.S. Open. That's what I'm here for.
And just following up on that, and you're going to get asked about this, I'm sure, but with Carlos and Jannik not here,
Yeah.
is it feel any different? Do you feel some responsibility, like now I've got to be the guy to go for this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it does change a little bit, especially Jannik not being here. He's basically won every Masters that he's played this year. But for me, it doesn't change much. I still want to compete against the best. I still want to play against the best, and hopefully just show up with my tennis. Play better than I did in Canada, and we'll see how far I can go in that tournament.
You talk about the switch from, I guess, hard courts to clay being a tough one for you. What's it like for you to go from grass to hard courts, back to hard courts? Is there any? It's just totally natural for you?
No, it's not. It's not. I think it's also a difficult switch for me because the ball bounces a lot higher, and I've never played that long on grass, so I never got used to the surface, which I did this year. I played almost 2 weeks longer than I normally do. So yeah, there's some adjustments to be made. I didn't play well in Canada, didn't feel well on the court in Canada either. So it's definitely, hopefully, a step forward here.
With Canada and Cincinnati being so close together before the U.S. Open, do you think players kind of have a pressure to prioritize one over the other?
I think that's what 2-week events do. Unfortunately, especially if there's a slam coming after that. If you play everything and you're a top player, you spend 7 weeks here in North America. That is quite a long time, and I think that's why a lot of top players they choose not to play Canada for multiple years now. And that's unfortunately the sad reality of it.
How do you think that can be fixed then?
How it always was. It's quite simple. Just make us be here for 2 weeks, not 7. Or 7. For the Masters, it's 2 weeks, and for both of them, and I think it's an easy fix regarding top players playing.
Novak is in a place where he can obviously kind of pick and choose when he wants to play, but are you just sort of amazed to see at his age what he has been able to do when he's
No, it's amazing. I think Novak, if he chooses to, he could probably stay in the top 5 for another 3-4 years easily, or 2-3 years easily. If he would play a full schedule, and if his goal would be to stay in the top 5, he would stay in the top 5, because that's just how good his tennis is. Of course, at some point, I think he's the first to admit it, and he admitted it at Wimbledon. At some point it gets difficult to play best of 5 matches, against the best back to back all the time, which is, I think, very, very normal. To be out there for 5 hours, 5.5 hours, and win those kind of matches is an unbelievable effort. But then to have to come back 2 days later and then play the world number 1 and world number 2, I think that's a difficult task at 39 years old, and it would be a difficult task for anybody.
Just getting back to the scheduling question, the idea of going back to where it used to be. Obviously, the tournaments would be like, well, we've got these extra days. We need, there's more money attached to that. Would players be willing to take less money in order to play for have the tournaments be shorter, or do you think that's a false choice?
That's an interesting question. You know why? Because we've had this conversation, and the money that tournaments are spending is obviously more because of also the first rounds. There's more first rounds that you have to pay. But actually, if you win a tournament, I can compare it because I won the Rome Masters back in 2017, and I think I got close to €1 million back then winning it, and then I won it 7 years later in 2024. I got 900 grand. So actually, I got less money for winning the same tournament 7 years later than I did 7 years prior. So I don't think it's it's less money if you win necessarily if the weeks are shorter.
Except,
Cincinnati last year was voted by players as the top 1,000 level tournament. Why do you think that is?
Because the facilities are amazing. I think went from one of the probably the worst facility-wise to probably the best now. We have multiple gyms. We have plenty of courts to practice on. We have great outdoor areas. We have great food. For me, I think the changes that have been made are unbelievable and fantastic to see all within a year. Right? You don't forget that it's been all made very, very quickly within 1 year to the next. The facility it's just amazing.
Bit of a fun question for you here.
Yeah.
In a couple months, they're going to be putting a different hard court down on center court as college basketball will be played on center court here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on a college basketball tournament being played on center court? And to follow that up, if you could play a tennis match on any non-traditional tennis site, where would you like to play?
But they're going to be open roof, I guess, basketball?
In October in Ohio.
It's going to be interesting with the wind, because center court is very windy. No, it's great. I think use the stadium. I mean, the stadium is beautiful, so use it for multiple sports. I think it being empty for an entire year and just use it for tennis is quite sad because it's an amazing stadium. And for me, any place I would love to play a tennis match, maybe the Allianz Arena in Munich, the Bayern Munich Stadium. Love to play in that.
Last one in your book?
Going back to the prize money question, obviously this is more of the Grand Slams, but at Roland Garros there was obviously the protests that the players made, which didn't really continue at Wimbledon. With US Open coming up, are there any plans, or is it safe to say that
I have no idea. I am not the leader of that movement, I would say.